So this is going to be a quick overview of the tool, and if you're familiar with metahumans, then you'll know that the core of a metahuman is a DNA file. This is a custom format from Epic Games, and it's basically a description of the entire rig, including joints, meshes, blend shapes, skinning, the lot. So in the tool, we can load up our DNA file, and this is going to be our input DNA. We can also specify an output DNA file. So for example, I'm just going to call this test2. And any operations we do, we can select if we want to do it on the input DNA or the output DNA or something else. In this case, I want to read the input DNA file, and we can just hit inspect. And this won't be super useful, but it will give you an idea of the kind of thing that's contained within a DNA file. So you can see the names of the meshes, the number of points, and if it contains any DNA targets, the expressions, controls, blend shapes. In this case, there isn't any. Blend shape channels and PSDs, which is what they call combos, basically. And we have the option to either build the full rig or build a partial rig. If I just hit build rig, this is going to say, do we want to build this rig? I'm going to hit OK, and this will take maybe a minute to build. Okay, so that's built, and in the scene we have our rig. Worth noting, this builds in whatever up direction you have your scene set to, either Y or Z. This is a fully functional rig using the MetaHuman plugin. Worth noting, you can also do this with the MetaHuman plugin, but this is giving you a little bit more granularity in what you can build and how you can build it. So other features of the tool, so down here we've got some utils such as setting the look of the joints so that it's a bit more readable, and some utilities for materials. So going over to the transfer tab, in here we have some utilities for transferring meshes from one metahuman to another, or joint placement from one metahuman to another, and then updating our output DNA file. Going over to the merge tab, this will allow you to merge two DNA files together. So for example, if you have, in this case, a metahuman that doesn't have any blend shapes, you can merge in a metahuman file that does, and then output a new DNA file. So in the Edit Poses tab, we can go ahead and load the poses from our input DNA file. This will confirm that we want to load this because it will take a moment. There we go. And this is all the poses in our DNA file. The tool will give us some sensible names for the combos, because by default these will be blank in the DNA file. And we're able to do some simple operations like pose the scene joints, update the data in the DNA file, scale the deltas, that kind of thing, and we're able to search this quite easily as well. And then once our edits are done, we can then save our output DNA file down here. Bake rig. So this is quite a useful tab. This will allow us to bake down a metahuman rig to a pure blend shape rig with some just basic poses using native Maya nodes so that we don't have a dependency on the MetaHuman plugins. And there's also a utility down here to bake some extra meshes and like disconnecting and then reconnecting if we want to edit certain things. And this depends on a config file, which you can open up in Sublime to see what is in there. So that looks like something like this, and this is basically a description of how we want to bake the rig. So in here we've got some in-betweens, some extra combos, a couple of extra shapes, and this is saying what meshes we want to bake. So you can edit this and save out a new JSON file and put that in here if you want to bake it in a slightly different way. On the Sculpt tab, we have some utilities for importing and exporting some blend-shaped sculpts and then ingesting them back into the rig, and some utilities for sculpting targets more easily, or just some basic delta operations down here. And then finally the QC tab. These are some utilities for connecting control boards or resetting animation, and here we'll actually generate a technical range of motion with some annotations, and you can also do it for selected sculpts if you want to review some of your sculpts. That is a super brief overview of the tool. In following videos I will go over how to use some of these in more detail.